Welcome to 5 Minutes With, the show where we spend about 5 minutes or so with a motorsport star. And today on the show we have...
Hey guys, it's Gabriel Bortoleto here, driver for Invicta Racing in Formula 2 and a McLaren development driver.
Yes, as the video viewers can see by the hat, yes, you are affiliated with McLaren. Thank you so much for taking the time for this and welcome to the show. You have had an incredible debut season in Formula 2 in 2024. I wanted to ask how it's been adapting to the Formula 2 car. Has it been easier than you perhaps expected?
I mean, obviously coming from a very good F3 season, I was expecting obviously to do some great results in Formula 2 as well. Luckily, we found a very, very good team and a lot of support from McLaren as well to put me in the position I am now in the championship. Obviously, we didn't start that well. We had our problems at the beginning of the season. The pace was always there, but it was a build-up season. I would say a lot of progress made this season, and I'm super happy where we are standing right now in a good shape. I mean, I'm very happy to be driving in the way I am now and, to be achieving the results I am.
Absolutely. And we'll get into some of those very recent results as well. We're currently standing second in the F2 standings as we record this before Baku. And yeah, downplaying your season last season in Formula 3 a little bit there, saying you had a good season. You won the championship, of course, but yeah, we'll just move on from that. I want to ask as well for the viewers at home, like, what is the main differences between a Formula 2 and a Formula 3 car? Is it purely power? Is it mainly downforce? What are the main differences you found this year compared to last?
I think mainly the weight of the car is obviously super heavy, an F2 car comparing to an F3. It's much bigger. Obviously, it's a turbo car as well. That is, the F3 is not turbo, so it makes a lot of difference in the way you need to drive it. And if I can simplify, that's the main things, like obviously there's a lot of small stuffs, but that's the main thing a driver feels when you step up from F3 to F2 is the weight, is the turbo lag of the car, and is the obviously size of the car because it's much bigger, as I said. So also to race and everything, it's much more complicated.
Yeah, and in fairness, Gabi, you've been making it look relatively simple to drive at times, especially, and we have to talk about this, especially the drive in Monza. I'm sure you've been answering a lot of questions when it comes to this, but for those that haven't been following Formula 2 this season, Gabi essentially did what I usually try and do in the Formula 1 game and go from last to first. But this guy did it for real life in the feature race at Monza. I have to ask, what were your emotions going through that race? Because you lined up at the back of the grid. Did you truly believe that you could have won that race? Because it's got to go down as one of the most surprising F2 drives I've seen in a long time, to be honest.
To be honest, I had a dream the night before. Obviously, I always believe that, or at least happens to me a lot, that when I'm thinking about something for a lot of time, it sometimes appears in my dreams, stuff like this. So maybe it's something from my imagination, but something that I dreamed about the night before, and I woke up actually with that image in my mind, was like as a third person in the other side of the rail of the grid, and the first position board when we stop the car, when we like go to the podium, there is the first, second, and third position, and I could see my car coming to the first board. So I don't know, I just had a very, very good feeling of that may actually happen, like that may be a possibility. Obviously, it's a dream. You never know if actually will happen or not, or actually who thinks that starting from P-last you can finish before? It's almost impossible, right? So I was just aiming to score as much points as I could and minimize, let's say, the damage of the championship in that situation, because my rivals were all starting in the top 4. So Maloney, Hadjar, and Powaron. So yeah, top 3. And for me, it was all about minimizing it. And then I came to this race, line up there, had a great start, P15 in the first lap, had a great pace, had a moment with the safety car, and then started setting pace after pace, lap after lap in a great situation, half a second per lap, probably quicker than P2 at that moment. So yeah, it was just amazing. And to win that race in that way was just unreal.
Absolutely unbelievable is definitely the term I'd use for that. Incredible. Absolutely. Yeah, going from limiting damage to causing damage for your championship rivals, gaining on all of them with that. So excellent. Absolutely. I want to talk as well, because those that don't know, you might not know that you're Brazilian, and there's not been a Formula 1 driver from Brazil in a long time. I think the last one was probably Felipe Massa in 2017. But what is the appetite like for Formula 1 in Brazil? Because we see the passion of the fans at Interlagos when we go there for the race, but how hungry is the nation for a Formula 1 driver? And can you feel that support when you're in the car, you're driving in Formula 2?
I mean, absolutely. I think being Brazilian is one of the most things I'm proud of, because the support, the love of my nation, to this sport is just something that if you're not Brazilian, it's very difficult that you understand, because, we went through a lot of things. It's not easy for us being, Brazilians coming from very far away from Europe, that is more or less the center of motorsport, like since I was 12, moving to Europe, to fight for a dream that you never know if you're going to achieve or not, because F1 it depends on a lot of things. But what can I say? I mean, yeah, I'm in a very good position right now. Hopefully one day I will get an opportunity in F1, because that's what I've been dreaming all my life, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see what the future waits and expects for me. But I will keep doing my job in Formula 2 the best I can. Keep trying to make races like I did last week. Obviously, it's much better when you start from pole, because you have less tension and a lot of less pressure around your body. But I mean, I'm super happy, to keep doing the job I'm doing, and I'm sure opportunities will come.
Yeah, I think you're due a much more straightforward drive in Baku in a week or so, but that is obviously a track that seems to cause incredible races, so I wouldn't really bet on it, to be honest with you, but I hope it's a much more straightforward one for you in Azerbaijan in a few weeks. So I wanted to talk as well about McLaren. Obviously, like we mentioned at the start, you're part of the development program there, and you joined after winning Formula 3 last season. I know you said that they're supporting you, obviously, but how is that support? Is it potentially helping you get a drive in like you did with Invicta in Formula 2? Just go over the support. I mean, I think you said that you're going to go to the simulator soon in a couple of days or so as well. So what does that program look like?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not an easy program, because we travel a lot, to make all the preparations the best we can. But for example, now I'm traveling to Netherlands to do the simulator work I do in adrenaline control. That is, for me, one of the best sims available for an F2, driver. And that's what Invicta is doing right now. And then there is also the support of sim from McLaren that I do it in MTC. We drive the F1 car, because obviously we don't have the Formula 2 car yet. But, there is still a lot of things we can learn driving an F1 car, different techniques. It's in like new tracks, stuff like this. They have always the perfect tracks and perfect bumps, curbs and everything. So it's always nice to go there, spend time with engineers, learn from them and the drivers as well. So yeah, there's going to be a few simulators days before I go to Baku still. Obviously, I'm home right now, so I also do a lot of sim work at home. But yeah, looking forward to this race week in Baku next week. First time there, so really excited and looking forward to see what we can do.
Can I ask what adrenaline control is? That really piqued my interest there. What's that? Is that a stressful race scenario or something that you have to endure on a sim rig, or what's that?
What do you mean? Like the name of the
adrenaline control? You mentioned that was one of the programs. Like what's that exactly?
No, it's actually just the name of the sim place.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a great name. I like that. We got me interested.
It is a very good name. I mean, it's very good. It's a sim where it's in Tilburg, I think, and it's a static sim, but with very good car model and track model and everything. So I really enjoy driving there, being part of the team of adrenaline control to develop my driving skills. It's just great.
Fair enough. Well, last question as well. I did notice when I was going over your information that you signed on with Fernando Alonso's agency a long time ago. Now, he's a character that I absolutely love in Formula 1. I wanted to ask, again, have you met him much? And if so, has he given you any advice? Because, he's a guy who's done very well in Formula 1, two-time champion, the most experienced driver in the history of the sport. I can imagine he's got some very interesting stories for you.
Yeah, obviously, Fernando is, for me, one of the greatest of all time in our sport. And yeah, obviously, we go through a lot of things. Obviously, driving, management, that's basically the work he's doing for me, all the negotiations with the teams I've been in the past in Formula 3, Formula 2 with McLaren. So, I mean, everything is done by the agency A14, and it's Alonso A14, it's his number. And it's the owners of this company is Alberto, Albert, and Fernando. So there are three partners there. They know each other since they are very young. So it's a very good atmosphere inside the them and then the how everything works. And obviously, I always want to have a chat with Fernando before a race weekend or anything like this, because he's a great guy and he can pass a lot of experience, 22 years in Formula 1, something like this. So I think he has been through a lot of tracks. I've been going for the first times now, and he can help me and the A14 drivers a lot. So I really enjoy being part of A14 and, getting all the advices from Fernando and from Alberto and Albert as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And he can definitely teach you a thing or two about Baku. I think that's one of the races where he actually got his car back to the pits despite it being on 2 flat tyres. I think it was 2017 off the top of my head, something like that. So
Lauren, yeah.
hopefully you don't have to use advice like that, but it's good to know just in case, I suppose. Oh, no, you've been an absolute pleasure to talk to, Gabi. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, George. Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here with you guys. Thanks to everyone that has sent me here or listened about it. So, yeah, very happy and hope to be back in the future.
Oh, there we go. Thank you very much. Welcome back anytime. Who do you guys want to see on the show next? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, hit us up on the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, as well as following the video platforms as well, Substack, YouTube, and MSN as well. So yeah, we'll see you soon for another interview here on 5 Minutes With.